excellence.
Rick Pitino's trying to settle the score. His tell-all memoir just hit store shelves, lashing out at everyone from Governor Matt Bevin to the founder of Papa John's. But there's one mistake he is taking responsibility for, sort of.
We go to the Gulf of Mexico and the tropics, and that is where our forecast becomes interesting as Gordon curves in our direction. And I'm going to time out when I think some of that moisture gets here and how much next.
And listen up, drivers. The problem that has crews closing the 2nd Street Bridge every night for more than a year.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us today. I'm Gilbert Corsi.
And I'm Fallon Glick in for Elizabeth Woolsey. Too many crashes, so the 2nd Street Bridge is about to close every night while it's being painted.
Since work started 6 months ago, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says there's been 38 wrecks in the work zone. To keep contractors and drivers safe, starting Sunday night, the bridge will close at 8 each night and then reopen by 5 the next morning. During the day, the bridge will still have 1 lane of traffic in each direction. The bridge work should continue through November of 2019. Now, coming up on WDRB News at 6, how U of L basketball games will affect the closure schedule. Rick Pitino trying to settle the score. His new book just hit store shelves today, and the former Cards coach is holding nothing back.
WDRB's Stefan Johnson tells us who he's singling out in conspiracy theories in his tell-all memoir.
The book was released this week, and it is clear Rick Pitino is angry about no longer being the head men's basketball coach here at the University of Louisville. But Pitino is not the only one upset about everything that has happened here at the university.
He is delusional. That's a fact. I mean, I've known him since the Knicks. I've known him a long time, but it has gotten ridiculous.
Coach Pitino's new book was a hot topic on former University of Louisville basketball star Jerry Eves' radio show today. Both Eves and callers have strong opinions about Pitino's last or latest stand. In the book, My Story, Pitino goes after everyone from Governor Matt Bevin to John Schnatter and a few of his assistant coaches. But Pitino still denies any involvement in the scandals that have rocked the university to its foundation. The former coach does admit one mistake, however, and that involved hiring a few of his assistant coaches, but quickly points out he cannot and did not control their actions. Eves, who is now the head men's basketball coach at Simmons College of Kentucky, says Pitino was absolutely responsible for his assistant coaches.
In Coach Pitino's contract, it's not personal, it's just fact. You're in charge of all the assistants. You hire all the assistants, you have the authority to hire them, and we hold you accountable for them.
In the book, Pitino also talks about the day he was fired and how it happened. He says right afterwards, he and his wife got on a plane and left Louisville and have not returned since. At the University of Louisville, I'm Stefan Johnson, WDRB News.
And Rick Bozich is joining us now. Stefan was just talking about how Pitino is responsible for his assistant coaches. So are all head coaches responsible for assistant coaches and their players, even if they don't know what they're doing?
Yes, they are. The NCAA changed that rule in 2013, Fallon, to make them responsible. The article was in USA Today. I actually looked it up, and I think Coach Pitino was aware of that you're in charge of the program, you're in control, and whatever happens, you have to answer for it.
All right, and this leads me to my next question. Will this book change anyone's opinion after Pitino is now pushing these new theories?
I don't really think so. I mean, maybe a few people. I'm curious how many people are really going to buy it to begin with. We've lived this story now for 3, 5, 7 years, all the different incarnations of it. I think people have pretty much made up their mind what they think. And my great sense is that a lot of Louisville fans just want to move on. It's the new season. It's the new football season. Chris Mack's now in charge. They're tired of hearing about it. Move on.
And I think a lot of the Louisville fans do want to move on. And I also want to ask you about a quote in the book. Pitino says, "I've laid it all out here. History, rivalries, politics, voter influence, a thirst for power, and frankly, an abuse of power." He goes on to say, "Tom Jurich and I have suffered immense stress and damaging hits to our reputations." So my question, will Patino and Jurich ever recover from this?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom Jurich has a better chance because he has moved on more. He's been a lot quieter in this, and he's worked out a settlement with the university, which Rick Pitino has not done. I think Tom Jurich will eventually, if he wants to, become an athletic director somewhere else, or maybe even a conference commissioner. I'm not sure Rick Pitino will coach again. He's going to end up being 66 years old this month in a couple of weeks. And he's got not only the stain from the FBI thing, but the Andre McGee thing and the Karen Seifert thing. And I think a lot of administrators, when they see all the turmoil that he's creating after he got fired, are going to back away and say, do we really want to be involved with somebody who's going to be that difficult to deal with?
Do you think we will ever see a book from Jurich?
Maybe. I mean, I think he might do it. I think he'll sit tight for a while before he writes one. It'd be an interesting book, too. He has a story to tell, and I'm all for Rick Pitino telling his story. I've just read different parts of it today, but the whole thing about this being a vast University of Kentucky conspiracy makes me shake my head.
All right, Rick, thank you so much. We will have much more on WDRB News at 6 and 6:30.
Mark Weinberg's WDRB weather forecast has the seal of approval from the American Meteorological Society.
I'm going to be honest, I don't like 10% chances of rain, and the reason is most of us don't see them, but I want you to see that a 10% is real. I mean, almost all of our area not seeing rain. There's one shower near Madison, and you've got this one right now that is very close to New Albany. This one's along I-265 in southern Indiana and extends between basically New Albany, Jeffersonville, and Clarksville. There is one other shower right now in the south side of Louisville here near PRP, and that's all. So in motion, you can see this is not moving a whole lot, but I want to show you what that looks like from our tower cam, because you can actually see, here's the cloud, rain falling in New Albany, and you can actually see the contact point. I'm a weather geek. I think this stuff is pretty cool. Looking at our temperature right now, this is what everybody is suffering through. It's a 93. Our heat index is 98, and it just feels so hot out there. As we look at advanced track, it keeps that very slim chance in here for the next 2 hours, and then that is gone as we move through the overnight hours. So I am going to keep that 10%, and you can see the reason why. And as we look at this forecast moving through the evening, there is the 10%. There is not the 10% at 9, and it's going to be, as you'd expect, pretty warm and humid by 11 p.m. 82. This is an interesting extended forecast because Gordon is going to bring some rainfall to our area, and I'm going to time out the first wave that could arrive as early as tomorrow in 10 minutes.
All right, we'll check back with you soon, Mark. Thanks. Increasing the minimum wage and protecting workers on maternity leave. WDRB's Lauren Smith explains that's part of a new agenda unveiled by Kentucky Democrats. It's a plan they believe can help them regain control of the State House. Lawrence?
Gil, Democrats lost the House in the Trump wave of 2016, but they believe they can win back voters by promising to put more money in their wallets.
And we need to get back on the right track in the state of Kentucky.
Democrats unveiling what they're calling a pro-middle-class platform during the annual picnic thrown by organized labor.
And how the middle class goes, I think it controls how it goes, the whole state or the nation goes as well.
Democrats plan to pre-file 13 bills they say will result in more pay and benefits for workers and more votes.
I think by us coming out very early and saying this is what we stand for gives voters information that they can take to the ballot box in November.
The agenda includes raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour by the early 2020s, repealing the right-to-work law, reinstating the prevailing wage for public projects, protections for employees on maternity leave, and requiring companies that receive state tax incentives to pay what Democrats call a reasonable wage and benefit.
Poverty and low-income wages are responsible for a lot of the ills that we're seeing in society.
But Republicans say the agenda being pushed by Democrats will drive business away and lower wages.
I think that's exactly the wrong thing to do. What we need are to bring more companies in and have those companies compete for our labor pool.
The Republicans, led by Governor Matt Bevin, plan to run on the state's record low unemployment. Bevin releasing this video last week.
Where we are working to make sure that we create jobs. It's the jobs and the dignity that comes from that.
But Democrats hoping to convince voters it's not just the number of new jobs that are important, but the quality of those jobs.
The thought of bringing jobs into the state of Kentucky is a great thing, but you got to have good paying jobs.
Lawrence, after losing, well, frankly, so badly in 2016, why do Democrats believe voters are ready for this message now?
Well, they point to the massive teacher protests this spring against pension reform. They believe that voters are now more ready to focus on issues that could affect their pocketbooks. Gil?
The countdown is on to November, and Lawrence Smith, thank you for your reporting. Police arrested a father accused of dropping and choking his daughter. 29-year-old Dominic Jackson is charged with criminal abuse. A witness told police Jackson put his daughter in a bear hug and squeezed so tight she couldn't breathe. Court records say Jackson then took the girl into a back room at a house on South 38th Street and dropped her on purpose. And when the girl started to cry, witnesses say Jackson put the child on her back and started choking her. Police have not released the victim's age or condition.
IU Southeast is getting $300,000 to combat sexual violence on campus. The money comes from the Department of Justice's Office on Violence Against Women. It's part of $18 million being awarded to schools across the country. A university spokesperson says IUS is the only IU campus to apply for the grant money. The university will use the money to fund an initiative to cut down on sexual violence and stalking. There is a new effort to snuff out smoking in Kentucky. State has the nation's second highest smoking rate, nearly 25% of the population. You'll be seeing more TV, print, and digital ads from the Department for Public Health to stop using tobacco. The new public information campaign also features outreach to medical providers and community engagement initiatives. More than 8 Kentuckians died this year from tobacco-related diseases, including lung cancer.
No college required. The major companies now saying you don't need a degree. Plus, after more than a decade missing, the famous shoes from the Wizard of Oz are finally found. But don't blame the Wicked Witch of the West for this disappearance. How the FBI finally tracked down Judy Garland's ruby red slippers.
WDRB News is sponsored by Advanced ENT and Allergy.
There are some things in life you just can't control, but there are some you can. Trust, for example, can go a long way. In a time of need, knowing there is someone you can trust, ready to help, can make all the difference. BBB holds businesses to a higher standard, so you don't have to. Find a business you can trust. Ask BBB.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. You deserve to feel safe when you go shopping at a mall, get your car from the lot, or go out to dinner with friends. Unfortunately, not all businesses take their customer safety seriously. Our firm has recovered compensation for clients who were injured or assaulted where the establishment didn't have proper security. Cutting costs is almost always the reason, but it's never an excuse. If you were hurt because of inadequate security, call us for a free case review. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
My gums are irritated. I don't have to worry about that. Do I?
Actually, you do. Harmful bacteria lurk just below the gum line.
Crest Gum Detoxify works below the gum line to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. And now there's new Crest Gum and Enamel Repair. It gives you clinically proven healthier gums and helps repair and strengthen weakened enamel. Gum Detoxify and Gum and Enamel Repair. From Crest.
Gums are good. So is my checkup.
Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
We need tough immigration enforcement to keep dangerous criminals out. In Congress, Joe Donnelly claimed he was 100% opposed to amnesty and promised to, quote, send who commits a crime. But in the Senate, Donnelly voted to grant amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants, including criminals, drunk drivers, domestic violence, and worse. Tell Senator Donnelly, no amnesty. Vote to fully secure our border.
Fixing my jewelry and watches is easy. At Fast Fix, you just drop it off while you shop. And it's ready in no time.
Fast Fix jewelry and watch repairs, 4 convenient locations.
All right, I brought in new Max Protein.
To give you the protein you need, with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. New Ensure Max Protein and 2 great flavors.
A downtown Louisville distilling company is set to expand in a rural Kentucky county. WDRB's Travis Ragsdale explains how Angels Envy expansion will also be helping out Henry County's school system. It's a story you'll see only on WDRB.
If all goes according to plan, this 354 acres would turn into bourbon-making central for Angel's Envy. From above, this farmland doesn't look like much, but Angel's Envy and Henry County hope to turn these rolling acres into an economic boon.
We believe there will be some tourism that will come about.
The bourbon distiller, headquartered in downtown Louisville, wants to build 5 barrel storehouses and a standalone distillery on this tract of land. It's more than 350 acres situated between Newcastle and Campbellsburg in Henry County.
We have had several distilleries to show interest in us, most of which has been for storage, barrel storage.
According to the plans, Angel would build 3 warehouses in the next 3 years, and then 2 more warehouses and the distillery in the next 5 years. The facility would create 20 to 25 new jobs.
They're generally the top end of the scale as far as average wages in our county. Most of the jobs will be somewhere in the $20 an hour average range.
Each warehouse would be about 50,000 square feet and hold up to 45,000 barrels. As part of the plan, Henry County would receive tax revenue from each of those barrels. All told, it could generate as much as $1.7 million a year for the rural county, much of which would go to the school system.
I think that it fits in with the Bourbon Trail and our beautiful countryside will be a draw to tourists.
A similar plan by Rabbit Hole Distilling Company for a different location in Henry County was scrapped earlier this year after neighbors expressed concerns. However, the county says no such issues have been raised with Angel's Envy. If this plan comes to fruition, the first of those rick houses are likely to be built later this fall. In Henry County, Travis Ragsdale, WDRB News.
A new factory bringing hundreds of jobs to Shepherdsville is set to open next week. A ribbon cutting will be held at New Flyer of America on Monday. The 300,000 square foot plant is located off Cedar Grove Road. The company says it's North America's largest bus manufacturer. New Flyer says it expects to add up to 550 jobs at the factory, which is anticipated to reach full operation late next year.
Some major companies are removing the requirement of a college degree from job openings. Businesses like Google, Apple, and IBM are placing a greater emphasis on experience rather than higher education. College degrees will still be taken into account, but will not serve as a barrier for an application being considered for a position. Amazon is now the second $1 trillion company in the United States. The online retail giant was worth $580 billion at the start of 2018, but has really turned up the dial on the profits. The milestone comes after Apple hit the $1 trillion mark at the beginning of the year. And on Wall Street, stocks are lower on this shortened trading week as technology and healthcare companies take losses. The Dow loses 12 points to close at 25,952. The Nasdaq down 18 to finish at 8,091. And that's today's business news.
WDRB weather is sponsored by Liquor Barn.
You know, sure, we have seen some downpour time, but generally speaking, it has been a dry period, and this has given the pollen an opportunity to go crazy. So tomorrow, moderate high category. Thursday, we're in the high category. Friday, moderate high category. And if you are allergic to ragweed or grasses, this time of the year is not your favorite. I have issues with ragweed every year, and yes, I do sound a little froggy right now. As you look out there right now, it's interesting on our radar. But what you'll notice is most of us aren't seeing any rain. But that said, there's a couple showers near the Madison area. And looking in Louisville, you can see a shower trying to form right now near Fern Creek. And this heavy downpour is the one we talked about a little bit earlier. This one's along Blackiston Mill along I-265 in southern Indiana. And that is generally where we have our showers. A couple more of these as we go from Litchfield to just west of Eaton. They're drifting off to the north, but these are going to be the spotty, only about a 10% type. To our south, Gordon becomes a big story. It is still a tropical storm, 65-mile-an-hour sustained winds. It is going to make landfall tonight here. Looks like, honestly, somewhere between Gulf Shores, Biloxi, and those areas. But as far as winds right now, overly, it's a small system that is not tremendously impressive. The core of this thing's very, very small, so all we have seen around Gulf Shores is wind gusts coming in at around 20 miles an hour. As stated, we'll make landfall tonight. Then where that moisture goes will be very important for us. Speaking of moisture, watch the time lapse there. It shows that burst of rain that is in southern Indiana, and you can actually still see it right now. Current temperatures coming in at 93 degrees. We've got a south-southeast wind at 9 miles an hour, and as we look around our area, air temperatures running near 90. Heat index values are closer to 100. So it is very hot out there. And advanced track here as we go through the night, all of these are gone. And we move into the afternoon tomorrow, and I actually feel like we would see what I would call a band from Gordon fire a few thunderstorms in the heat of the afternoon. So I am going to punch tomorrow up just a touch to 30% chance. But I think that real moisture will increase later in the week, and I think it's going to have a real impact on us. So tonight, we drop back to a low temperature, I think of around 75 degrees. It is going to be a way mild night tonight with just that 10% early. Tomorrow afternoon, our high temperatures in there at 91, 30% chance, and moving into the extended, we got a 30% Wednesday, Thursday. Mike, we start to bring that chance up on Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, much higher chance. And I'll talk about Gordon's rainfall totals in 20 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mark. Getting out this afternoon, we've been a little bit on the heavy side as we take a look around New Albany, especially on 265. You can see coming westbound from Charlestown Road, Grant Line, and then right over to the ramps at I-64, and then headed westbound 64. You're a little slow over to about 150. Here's what it looks like coming past Green Valley at the overpass there. May have had some rain move through the area and just slowing you up there. Also coming out of downtown, you see 64 eastbound already a little slow. Heading out to the junction, the 2nd Street Bridge, a little heavy spot there coming out of Jeffersonville. And then out at the airport, we're still rolling pretty well on the Watersend out in front of the airport or the Expo Center. The westbound lanes, a little heavy back at Newburgh and Poplar Level Road and over to the interchange at 65. And 64 westbound starting to load up at the Watersend West. From the Oxmoor Auto Group Traffic Center, I'm Mike Marshall with WDRB Traffic.
Mike, thank you. The prank of all pranks hidden in plain sight. The stunt pulled at a McDonald's that went unnoticed for months.
Plus, a nutty excuse for a rollover crash, why the driver is blaming a squirrel.
Temperatures drop in response to rising rain chances when the rain has the greatest impact on travel.
The hottest bands in Louisville from the 60s and the 70s are getting back together.
Keith takes us to a rock and roll reunion.
On WDRB in the morning tomorrow, 5 to 9.
The male Bulldogs put their unbeaten record on the line as they travel to Trinity.
WDRB Sports Game of the Week is presented by Coyle Automotive Group.
Elliot is a conservationist, protecting the rare cockeyed wallaby. And so on Thursdays, Elliot will be here. For everyone else, there's Thursday Night Football.
When you get hurt, you need help.
And you need it fast.
Call 800-800-4600.
Hughes and Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Spectrum is redefining everything you thought you knew about internet, TV, and voice services to bring you the ultimate triple play. A true revolution in internet speed with game-changing new starting speeds of 200 megabits. That's double our previous speed and double the bandwidth for the fastest surfing, streaming, gaming, and more. Get Spectrum Internet starting at 200 megabits for $29.99 a month with no data caps and a free modem. Call 844-579-2999. Then catch all your favorites in stunning HD, plus thousands of titles free on demand with Spectrum TV for $29.99 a month. And get Spectrum Voice with unlimited calling to the U.S., Mexico, and more for $29.99 a month. Call 844-579-2999. Switch to Spectrum Internet TV and Voice for $29.99 a month each with no contracts. Call 844-579-2999.
5-piece dinettes, $3.97. End tables, $39. Bring your trucks and trailers for the hottest buys in Kentuckiana. It all has to go. Come in and save during Furniture Liquidators Retirement Celebration.
Breakway is the home of the $159 four-wheel brake job. We're talking brakes on all four wheels of any car, truck, or SUV. Fast in and out service. A parts and labor guarantee. All for $159. Plus, if you want to save even more, mark your calendars for midweek because everyone wins on Wednesday and you get 15% off. Nobody beats the Breakway deal on brakes. Breakway has 9 locations throughout Louisville, Clarksville, LaGrange, and E-Town.
Here it is, Maggie. Our price for a traditional funeral service.
Just $26.95 and posted right on our website.
I wonder why other funeral homes don't post their prices on their websites. Cremations and funerals can be expensive,
but not at Newcomer.
Well, they weren't hiding somewhere over the rainbow, but the FBI found a pair of ruby red slippers worn in the original Wizard of Oz.
The shoes were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota in 2005. FBI agents say the shoes were recovered during a sting operation in Minneapolis earlier this summer. They say someone went to the company that insured the shoes last year saying he had information about the shoes, but agents say those involved were actually trying to extort the owners of the slippers. 4 different pairs of ruby red slippers survived post-production of the 1939 movie.
So are they going back to the museum now?
I hope so, yeah, so we can all see them.
And I guess truly there is no place like home.
That's right. Good one, Gil.
See what I did there?
I see what you did.
Commercial break.
A driver in Philadelphia blames a squirrel for a car crash.
And you got to see this crash. A witness says the driver told police he was coming down the street and saw a squirrel. That is the aftermath. He thought he was going to hit the squirrel, so the driver swerved and lost control. And wow, you can see the damage. He plowed into a full row of cars parked along the street, and then his car rolled onto its side. The driver was pulled out of his car and miraculously only had a few scratches after all of that wreckage. No word on whether that driver will be charged. Okay, so if you're gonna pull a prank, you might as well do it right? And in this case, the prank was definitely done right.
I'd say so. 2 friends in Texas decided there wasn't enough Asian representation in their local McDonald's, so they designed a huge poster of themselves, even using the same dotted circle design as the other ones in the restaurant. Smuggling it in was a little difficult. One of them wore an old McDonald's shirt while friends posed as customers. They hung out in the restaurant until the coast was clear, then snuck it up on the wall using adhesive so it wouldn't vandalize the restaurant. That was on July 13th, and the poster is still up. Their story has now gone viral, and no word on whether McDonald's will ever take it down. But it looks like it's right where it should be.
Like it's just part of a new promotional campaign,
yeah,
right?
You know, McDonald's probably saying, thank you, we now have more decoration on our walls.
And those 2 may have, you know, futures as graphic designers.
Right, I'd say so too.
Artistic abilities. Well, a surprise passenger at a Kentucky drive-thru. A woman found a man sleeping in her back seat, and he'd apparently been there for quite a while.
The guy's head, just plopped off like it was, resting.
The clue she saw and ignored before getting into her car.
After a school shooting, Marshall County High School students are in Louisville today. The award they received and the reaction from the crowd.
WDRB News, sponsored by GoKubota.com.
What's the best-selling small tractor in America? Kubota's BX Series subcompacts. No other subcompact tractors on the market have so much power and versatility designed to fit in your garage. And if you're looking to mow right now, a 54-inch mower deck is included. Get a BX 1880 for as low as $99 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months. Kubota's BX 1880, the only real choice.
Find a Kubota dealer near you at GoKubota.com.
No. Oh, honey, we've got a problem.
Is your home having a bad day? Then call ASI Plumbing. We handle everything from simple repairs and leak detection to sewer problems and water heaters. Fully licensed and insured with an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Go online and schedule a service with a click of a button. You can also get an estimate or a trusted second opinion.
We would prefer to be your first choice, but I'll take number 2.
Before I go back to school,
I'm getting my eyes checked. Yep, these baby blues.
Yep, these baby blues.
At Vision First.
Their doctors are the best.
My mom loves them too.
Because we get free lenses.
Totally free. On cool brands like Disney, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So to see your best.
And look your best.
Trust Vision First like we do.
First, you're looking in the right direction.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure, I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
Throughout the day and under the Twin Spires, the line has grown to honor the face of Churchill Downs.
WDRB's Chris Suter takes us to John Asher's Visitation, where people poured in to show their respects.
Churchill Downs, a place known for heart-pounding excitement, paused Tuesday to remember a life well lived by a man who became the face of the track.
I would suggest the last 20 years have been among the most exciting years.
His voice guided us through every big first Saturday in May.
Good morning, happy Derby.
His face, about as recognizable at the track.
It's something that he always wanted, you know, and wanted to be a part of.
As the Twin Spires. Tuesday, John Asher went around the oval and down the stretch of what became his old Kentucky home one last time.
It was very moving.
Churchill Downs outriders escorting the hearse along the way.
To honor him in that fashion, I thought was very appropriate and very meaningful, and something that I think John would have loved.
At his visitation, friends, colleagues, big names and small, waited for an hour or more to pay their respects. Fond memories and kind words, easy to find.
He really did have a smile in his voice, as we like to say, every time he talked to you.
He never said a bad word about anybody when I was around, and I appreciated that.
He's just a good person. It's a big hole in the city of Louisville. Irreplaceable.
Roses that are so prominent on his employer's biggest day were at his visitation too. Pictures of Asher with his family and of his career looped on the TVs. And the music he loved almost as much as horse racing could also be heard playing throughout the Triple Crown room. The service, undeniably John Asher.
I'm thankful just anytime I got to be around him.
A strong, deep voice silenced, but a legacy that will never see the finish line. Asher's funeral is at the Cathedral of the Assumption at 2 Wednesday afternoon. At Churchill Downs, Chris Suter, WDRB News.
Friends of the Trinity High School student sucked into a drain pipe full of rushing water are raising money for his medical bills. Davey Albright is in critical condition after the accident Friday. It happened after heavy rain in his neighborhood off North Hurstbourne Parkway. First responders found the teen unconscious in a yard about 100 yards from where he disappeared into the drain. A friend started this GoFundMe page. It's already raised over $20,000. The friend says he hopes taking the burden of medical bills off the family can help them focus on getting Davey on the road to recovery. A Louisville man is facing charges after police say he brought fentanyl-laced heroin into Metro Corrections. According to an arrest report, 52-year-old Jeffrey Wilson was in the process of being booked on Friday when officers found a small plastic baggie of the fentanyl-laced heroin in his socks. The bag then tore, exposing 5 officers to the deadly drug. Wilson also reportedly threatened to throw the drug into the officers' faces or leave it near their homes. Police think he brought it into the jail to sell. He faces a number of charges, including wanton endangerment and terroristic threatening.
Marshall County students received an award today for their courage after January school shooting.
WDRB's Valerie Chin takes us to the ceremony that had the crowd in tears. Valerie.
7 months after the school shooting, students say they are still Marshall strong.
A solemn ceremony to remember lives lost, and a ceremony to honor students overcoming it all. A standing ovation for Marshall County High School students who represented the student body. They received the 911 Hero Award, which is given annually at the Kentucky Emergency Services Conference.
How has your recovery been?
It's been a speedy recovery.
It's for their courage and how they handled January's school shooting. Football player Devin Evans was shot in the back, and the bullet came out of his shoulder. He was one of 21 who were injured.
Went to every football practice, worked out with the football team, was bench pressing a week and a half later. Everything's been amazing.
Every day, students remember their fellow classmates Bailey Holt and Preston Cope, who were killed in the shooting.
The first one I ever got was that one with the Bailey and Preston with the date. And then the second one I got, it goes all the way up. I got the Stairway to Heaven with Bailey and Preston with the time of the shooting on the clock and where the clock got busted from the bullet. That's where that bullet exited.
Marshall County E911 also received an award for how dispatchers took the 911 calls. From helping injured students to providing detailed information to emergency officials, these students are true heroes.
We got an award for being a family because Marshall County High School is just one big family. That's what it means for me.
It was a heroic act, but it was just right place, right time. If anybody else was there, they'd have done it.
The KSB commissioner also commended the students on the detailed interviews that helped the investigation. Valerie Chen, WDRB News.
Valerie, thank you. It's a matter of national security rarely discussed, from the service you don't see tied to life in the military. Today, a new program near Fort Knox designed to get military spouses to work. In the military,
I knew what I was signing up for, but I was not ready for it.
Adriana Hansinger says goodbye is part of the job.
Portugal, Fort Meade, Fort Hood, and now Fort Knox.
And every time Master Sergeant Paul Hansinger Jr. receives orders to a new post,
sadness,
or his wife, it's,
can I do this?
To remove that stress, which is what this Digital Works program is doing, is monumental.
Tomorrow we'll be doing mock interviews.
Hansinger's part of the first class. The Digital Works program teaches military spouses and veterans basic IT and customer service skills, and then places them into work-from-home jobs they can keep as home bounces from place to place.
The only time that our spouses will not be employed now is when they don't have access to the internet.
A 2018 White House report showed unemployment among military spouses at 16%, 4 times higher than the national average. And those that do work are often underemployed, earning on average $12,000 less per year than otherwise expected. Hansinger went from managing real estate to a barista in 12 years married to a soldier.
It really brings my morale down to where I've felt like on a lower level. What am I bringing to the table?
The Pentagon now considers military spouse unemployment a matter of national security, threatening force readiness. Connected Nation, the nonprofit behind the program, hopes it's one less thing for military families to worry about, constantly adjusting to new cities, new schools, and new friends.
This should be available and a viable workforce training program on every installation.
Serving families.
You can choose to have a good and positive attitude.
Who protect and serve. This is a free month-long course at Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, and once it's completed, the starting pay for these military spouses is up to $15 an hour. Digital Works is in 6 other states, but this is the first partnership with the military, and we've placed a link on our website, WDRB.com, on information on how to enroll.
Hundreds and hundreds of pigs rescued from hoarders at a farm in northern Kentucky. Now it's a race against the clock to get them adopted or they'll be killed. Nearly 500 pigs were rescued from this farm in Pendleton County, which is in the Cincinnati area. Most of the pigs are malnourished and some are pregnant. The woman leasing the farm took in about 15 pigs a few years ago, ultimately resulting in a number she couldn't handle.
Multiplies. So when you have 10 pigs who give birth, then they each have 6 to 10 pigs who could now possibly give birth.
State officials set a September 14th deadline to get the pigs veterinary care and transported to new homes, or they will be euthanized. A Kentucky woman discovers a man in her back seat after driving around for a while.
Yeah, listen to this. Allison Rose says she noticed a random shoe on the sidewalk outside of her house in Winchester yesterday morning. Well, she thought nothing of it and got in her car. Rose says she had gone through 2 different drive-thrus before she noticed something strange.
I noticed right before I got on the interstate to head towards Lexington that my door ajar light was on. And I was like, okay, well, I was stopped. So I checked my door. It wasn't my door. So then I pulled off on the interstate and I opened my back driver door. The guy's head just plopped off like it was, resting, and it just plopped out. And to be honest, I didn't think he was alive.
Rose says the man was seemingly just taking a nap. 29-year-old Brandon Adams, you're looking at his picture here, was arrested and charged with public intoxication. New guidelines for concussions in children. What the CDC says parents should not do when trying to treat their children.
Gordon's going to make landfall tonight as either a tropical storm or hurricane, but you can see that moisture getting traced into our area. I'm going to talk about when to expect some of the rain and thunderstorms and how much next.
WDRB News is sponsored by Advanced ENT and Allergy.
Mattress and More delivers with a massive Labor Day sale. Buy a Sealy King or Queen mattress for the price of a twin, just $3.99. Plus, get a free adjustable base with the #1 selling Tempur-Pedic through Labor Day at Mattress and More.
Ever missed your Kentucky Lottery numbers by just one number? Now you can win if one or more of your Pick 3 and Pick 4 numbers are only one digit higher or lower than the numbers drawn. Try the one-off wager. It's a new way to play and win from the Kentucky Lottery.
Sofas $297, assorted lamps $19. Huge savings during Furniture Liquidators Retirement Celebration. You won't find a better deal on sofas, bedroom groups, mattress sets, the guaranteed lowest prices, and 60 months no interest or no credit needed financing. 5-piece dinettes $397, end tables $39. The hottest buys in Kentuckiana. It all has to go. Come in and save during Furniture Liquidators Retirement Celebration.
When you get hurt, you know what to do.
Call Hughes and Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Excuse me, this bill is almost double what I was expecting.
Well, it covers all your work, and then some.
Then some?
Like office supplies.
Those are fish.
Well, I'm off to the club.
Then some?
Okay, let's try something new.
And here's your statement.
I could hug you.
Bring it in.
At Aspen Dental, we're a different kind of dentist. Not covered by insurance? Get a free new patient exam. Schedule online or call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
Hi, I'm Vicki Rogers. And hi, I'm Karen Kraft with Kraft Fine Homes. Make sure and tune in this Sunday for another edition of Kraft Fine Homes Luxury Showcase.
Everyone wants more for less. Mattress and More delivers with a massive Labor Day sale. Get a free adjustable base with the #1 selling Tempur-Pedic and buy interest-free for 60 months with no down payment at Mattress and More.
The first day of Senate confirmation hearings for President Trump's Supreme Court nominee started with Democrats demanding for a delay and protesters shouting over lawmakers.
Democrats asked for the delay to review 40,000 pages of documents just recently released and demand tens of thousands more documents be released. In the end, the chairman of the committee continued with the hearing.
I am disappointed that despite his exemplary qualifications and outstanding record, so many of our colleagues across the aisle have announced their opposition even before he was nominated.
Today, the Senate is not simply phoning in our vetting obligation, we're discarding it. It's not only shameful, it's a sham.
Put together an official group that can elaborate and bring together
Senate
ideas.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he predicts a vote on Kavanaugh's confirmation by October 1st. If approved, Kavanaugh will replace Justice Anthony Kennedy.
We now know who will fill Senator John McCain's Senate seat after he died last month. Former Senator John Kyle says he's committed to serve through the year. That means the Republican attorney will be able to vote on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation. Kyle has been helping Kavanaugh through the confirmation process. Kyle says he won't seek office in 2020. That's when voters will get to decide who fills the remainder of McCain's seat through 2022. McCain died of brain cancer on August 25th.
The Indianapolis mother whose husband and 3 children drowned when a duck boat sank in a Missouri lake filed a lawsuit. Tia Coleman is asking the owners of the duck boats to stop manufacturing or operating them until they are redesigned to be safe. 17 people died when the boat sank July 19th in Branson during a storm. Coleman lost her husband, children, and 5 other relatives. The lawsuit does not specify the amount of money she's seeking. Parents, there's new advice on how to treat children with concussions.
The center
Be hot. My answer would be absolutely. Tropics are also starting to heat up just a little bit. Gordon is almost a hurricane. 75 would make it a hurricane, 70-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be close. Whether it's a hurricane or tropical storm still impacts, and I think Gordon's going to bring some impacts to our area as well, which I think is a big part of this forecast. So let me show you as we go towards the Gulf and give you an idea of what we've got right now with Gordon. Gordon continues its movement towards the Gulf Coast. As mentioned, 70-mile-an-hour sustained, takes it just under hurricane force, but I don't think that really matters if it's 5-mile-an-hour winds or stronger. I think you have to look at this one as the biggest potential impact will be from rain. Here's the core right here. Notice, as is commonly the case on these weaker systems, the second half basically doesn't exist. So the punch should be stronger on the front side. So this is the latest on the track. And you'll notice that Gordon by the weekend starts to make its turn towards. It's going to be much weaker than what it is right now, but that rain. In fact, we do actually have a little bit of rain right now. This one now has moved north of I-265 in southern Indiana. There are a few lightning strikes. Got a few light showers here along Bardstown Road, and then we go to the southwest of E-Town, a couple of these light showers. Bottom line, if you catch one, heavy downpour. And I actually should probably more refer to it versus a light shower, a heavy downpour. High today, 93 degrees. It was toasty after a low of 76, nowhere near the record of 102. We're currently at 92 degrees with a southwest wind at 8. So in Louisville, it feels like 96. Gil mentioned it, and it is way hot. Notice St. Matthews at 94, 91 in the west end, and all across the area. 90s are dominating us right now. On top of that, the dew points are near 70, so it is felt pretty rough outside. Advanced track shows these showers and thunderstorms last probably only for a couple of hours. I think most of these would be gone once we hit around 10. You'll notice on Wednesday, and this is kind of almost an outer band of Gordon, we start to see a couple showers and thunderstorms develop. So I've increased tomorrow to a 30%, and I'm probably going to keep that same chance as we go Wednesday. And then I think Thursday into Friday with this front sagging, I think we've got a nice opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms. Then as Gordon approaches, you will notice a warm front moves back on Saturday. That means late Saturday, and I think more so into Sunday, we would see some of that rain from Gordon. Where the low goes, the heaviest rain would fall, and you can see that heavier stripe goes to our north, but still sizable rainfall totals, potentially over 2 inches in Louisville in the next 7 days. So tonight our low temperature, if you want to call it a low, is only going to 76 with a 10%. Remember, get caught underneath one of these, there's downpours. Tomorrow, 91 degrees with a 30% chance. Moving into the extended 30% Thursday. I'll increase that to a 50% Friday. And Mike, late Saturday into Sunday right now looks like the greatest impact from Gordon moving across our area.
All right, thank you, Mark. Heading out, we've had some rain moving in through New Albany, and that's right where we have some problems this afternoon. You can see one crash working out near Grant Line Road, and traffic's been very heavy in both directions. Here's what it looks like at Charlestown Road, and you can see the wet pavement there, so traffic slowing down there either direction of 265 through New Albany. Out at Dixie Highway, we're a little bit on the heavier side. Anything on the north end of Greenwood and St. Andrew's Church Road, working your way up near the Watersend. And speaking of the Watersend, now we're the heaviest between Poplar Level Road and then back over to the interchange with 65. And starting to see that first wave out on the Gene Snyder southbound Shelbyville Road, a little bit heavy down to the ramps at 64. From the Oxmoor Auto Group Traffic Center, I'm Mike Marshall with WDRB Traffic.
Rick Pitino expounds on his newly released book, what he said on the radio, and Rick Bozich will help me expand on Pitino, the book.
WDRB News, giving you our best every day. This year's AP winner for Best Daytime Newscast, Best Evening Newscast, and overall excellence.
Summer's $1 million musical party.
I didn't think Tony was going to back that thing up like that.
Invites you to play along from home.
Who's going to get that money?
First category, which is probably the time your flannel was still cool.
Beat Shazam, all new tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox.
School's back in session, and the Kia Stores has the formula to save you thousands. Where you can drive away in a sporty new 2018 Kia Rio for only $13,489. And we want your trade, even if you owe more than it's worth. Only at the Kia Stores.
Get this new Platinum Plus AC and heating system for as low as $98 per month from A Plus Stir. Plus, a free home automation package, a Nest thermostat, Nest camera, and Google Home Mini. Call today. A Plus Stir Heating and Cooling.
If you slip and fall at a place of business, your injury may be their responsibility. Some of the worst injuries can come from easily preventable conditions: wet floors, broken steps, faulty railings, cracked sidewalks. You may be entitled to recover money damages as a result of your slip and fall, but we need to work to preserve evidence. If you or a loved one were injured in a fall, call us at Pound Law on your cell phone. That's pound 529, Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Is this the world's best sandwich? Nope. Lance's real peanut butter between two toasted crackers is the best. Pick up some tasty sandwich crackers from Lance.
Cherry House Furniture Galleries, your Labor Day weekend destination, with incredible furniture savings store-wide. Cherry House says thanks to the American workforce, with 50% off MSRP on all our beautiful furniture. Plus, for a limited time, get 12 months interest-free financing if paid in full. Cherry, family owned for almost 50 years, and we stand behind we sell. It's the 50% off Labor Day event, only at Cherry House Furniture Galleries, where even the price is beautiful.
Improving your home's value is very important. That's why here at Window World, we pride ourselves in being your partner for all your exterior remodeling needs.
And with the highest quality installation.
Our energy-efficient products will save you money.
For a limited time, get 8 windows for as low as $80 a month.
If it's an entry or patio door, new replacement windows, or vinyl siding, we'll make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck.
Call or go to windowworldlouisville.com.
School's back in session, and the Kia Stores has the formula to save you thousands. Drive away in a brand new 2019 Kia Sorento SUV for only $24,399. And we want your trade, even if you owe more than it's worth. Only at the Kia Stores.
The motivation writing the book was to put closure on a career. Now, I believe...
Do you want to coach?
I don't.
You don't?
I did last year, desperately.
That is Rick Pitino speaking this afternoon to Mike Francesa on WFAN Radio in New York. Talking for about an hour on this show. He's still going, as far as we know, and talking about his new book, Pitino, My Story. Rick, you've got a copy of it right there. I know you've kind of gone through some excerpts. Did we learn anything new in this?
You know, I think there's some good stuff in there where he really dives into the influence of shoe money with some detail and how it all began back with Sonny Vaccaro and Nike and how extensive it is now. That part of it's good. There's a lot of background in his career. In terms of shedding much light on anything that happened at U of L and what led to his departure, you know, having lived here, we've all know the story, and I don't think he really presents much of a case, anything that what we already know, other than he likes Jay Billis and Dick Vitale.
Well, I think we already knew that also. He talks about wanting to have coached desperately a year ago, had a couple of maybe possibilities that were kind of squashed by the ongoing FBI investigation. Says now that he doesn't want to coach. Do you think he coaches again?
I don't think he will coach again, Tom. He's going to be 66 years old in a couple of weeks. I don't think anybody can hire him for a while. He mentioned when he talked to a couple schools last year, it was difficult for him to navigate his way through the process. And I think that schools that are out there, we're going to have some hesitancy about hiring him, not only because of what's happened, but also because of the way he's handled this, and wondering if they get involved with him and things go bad, he can be really difficult to deal with.
He has said a number of times, this is the last interview, this is the last I'll be talking about it, and more keeps coming out about it. There is another book coming out about him, written by Michael Sokoloff, which we expect in the next few weeks or so. Was this an attempt maybe on his part to get his book out before that came out?
I think he was going to write the book all along. I've heard from last year with a couple of people that he actually approached to write the book with him, so I think it was coming regardless. Whether this was aimed at getting out ahead of the Sokoloff book, I think that's fair to ask. That comes from a bigger publishing company. It's going to have a big splash too. I don't know how much. To me, the most interesting question is, and the follow-up story we're going to have to do is, how much do either one of these books sell? We have to ask ourselves, I mean, how much appetite is there locally for people to keep reading about this? I think people want to move on.
Or even nationally, for that matter.
And get on to Chris Mack and the basketball team and the football team. I'll be very interested to see how many people pick up this book and buy it.
I'll try to work my way through part of it at least.
You'll read mine. This is Eric's. When I'm done with it, I'll give it to you. Then you can give it to John and then Aaron, and we'll pass it down the chain.
Fair enough, and we will write about it as well. He's Rick Bozich. I'm Tom Lane for WDRB Sports.
All right, guys, thank you. Well, how do you make 80 years of marriage work?
The oldest living married couple says there are two keys to long-lasting love. We'll share them after this timeout. As we head to break, the Mega Millions jackpot for today, $167 million, and tomorrow's Powerball, $100 million.
We've never seen anything like you around here before. You're going to make an awful lot of people very happy. Yes, sir. Pay off big time.
Coming soon, Louisville's own Derby City Gaming. For details, visit derbycitygaming.com.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But family allergy and asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family allergy and asthma.
Overwhelming air fresheners can send you running. So try Febreze One with no aerosols and no heavy perfumes, so you can spray and stay. Febreze One.
Why did I want a Crest 3D White Smile? Dinner date. Meeting his parents' dinner date. So I used Crest.
Crest 3D White removes 95% of surface stains in just 3 days for a whiter smile that will win them over. Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Give a man a chicken sandwich and he'll eat for a day. Give him 2 and he'll still eat for a day. But boy, what a day that would be. Introducing the all-new buttermilk and hand-breaded Southern Sweet and Smoky and Southern TLC chicken sandwiches. One has breaded lettuce, smoky backyard sauce, and a potato bun. The other, an undeniable classic with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Order ahead on Zaxby's.com or use our app to skip the wait. Zaxby's.
When you need help caring for someone you love, you turn to people you can trust to provide the care you can't give on your own. But when those people violate your trust and harm your loved one, you need to take action. If your loved one is suffering from bed sores, broken bones, dehydration, or malnutrition, get help now. Call the Nursing Home Injury Hotline and get help right now. 800-800-4600. Because together, we can make a difference.
Just like your team, our team is going deep on First Down Friday, covering more red zone and more teams. Get the blitz for any other station at 10:45.
First Down Friday is presented by Coyle Automotive Group, UPS Jobs, and Window World.
We need tough immigration enforcement to keep dangerous criminals out. In Congress, Joe Donnelly claimed he was 100% opposed to amnesty and promised to, quote, send back any illegal immigrant who commits a crime. But in the Senate, Donnelly voted to grant amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants, including criminals, drunk drivers, domestic violence, and worse. Tell Senator Donnelly, no amnesty. Vote to fully secure our border.
Now forecasting in 3D. WDRB weather.
If there's anyone you should take marriage advice from, it's this next couple.
Indeed, 100-year-old Miyako Matsumoto and her 108-year-old husband Maso are the oldest married couple in the world. They wed in October 1937, but were too poor back then to afford a wedding ceremony. Maso's wife says she always believed there were better times ahead. Her 2 keys to making 80 years of marriage work: patience and endurance. The Japanese family now has 60 people, including 25 great-grandchildren. Great story. We're going to leave you there.